Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca Hajos. I'm a registered nurse. I'm doing the RN to BSN program at Viterbo University, and I have a presentation for you today on diagnosis-related groups in healthcare. All right, a little bit of introduction and background here for you. Diagnosis-related groups, also known as DRGs, were developed as a way to standardize how hospitals are reimbursed for inpatient care. Instead of billing for each service separately, hospitals receive a set of payment based on the patient's diagnosis and expected resources. This model encourages hospitals to be more cost efficient, but can also put pressure on staffing and quality outcomes. For nurses, DRGs are important because they influence the length of the stay, discharge readiness, and overall workload. Understanding how these DRGs shape the care environment helps nurses make informed decisions about quality and efficiency. Literature search strategy. So, when obtaining literature for this project, I use the Viterbo University Online Library as my sole search platform. My first search used the terms DRG nursing, and then I filtered for peer-reviewed sources that were created within the last 5 years. The first search that I did yielded limited results. I did find 2 sources that I liked, but then I decided to adjust my keywords to diagnosis-related groups, healthcare, and this got me a broader range of studies. I used the same filters to make sure everything was recent and credible, and ultimately I selected the 4 articles that I'll share with you today. They were published between 2023 and 2025, and they discuss DRGs in relation to nursing costs, reimbursement models, and care quality. Okay, reviewing this literature. So my first source, nursing cost analysis for acute exacerbation of COPD patients in ICU, was a study that analyzed how nursing costs for ICU patients with acute COPD align with the DRG reimbursement. The authors found that the actual labor costs for nurses frequently exceeded what hospitals were reimbursed under DRG-based models. This discrepancy points to a major issue, that DRGs not fully capture the time of intensity of nursing care, especially in high acuity environments. The authors recommended reevaluating DRG cost calculations to better reflect nursing resource use. All right, my next article here, Billing Models for Measuring Nursing Care. This was a scoping review that looked at how nursing services specifically are billed and reimbursed. In most DRG systems, nursing care isn't billed separately. It's bundled in the DRG payment, which makes the cost and value of nursing somewhat invisible. The authors argue that without direct billing or tracking nursing contributions, they're often under-recognized and both financially and administratively. They call for more transparent models that show the true cost of nursing care. All right, and then article number 3, Impact of DRGs on Inpatient Quality of Healthcare. So this was a meta-analysis that examined how DRG-based payment models affect inpatient quality of care specifically. The results were mixed. While the DRGs led to shorter hospital stays and better efficiency, they were sometimes linked to things like higher readmission rates and lower continuity of care. These authors concluded that quality safeguards must be built into the DRG systems to prevent the cost cutting from compromising patient safety. All right. And then here we have article number 4, International Review of DRG Payment Reforms. So this is kind of interesting because it also kind of bridges across the pond, outside of the United States, to consider some of the models that not just the US uses, but what they use in other countries. So this review compared DRG systems across 10 countries. The authors found that while DRGs remain the main framework for inpatient funding, many nations are shifting towards a hybrid systems that blend DRG payments with quality or outcome-based incentives. This shift aims to improve fairness and reduce the administrative complexity of purely activity-based funding. So kind of an interesting mix of articles here, talking about like those first two kind of focus specifically more, on the nursing cost and how that can often sometimes be overlooked or underfunded. And then these last two kind of gear more towards solutions as far as like overall hospital reimbursement and also quality of patient care. So what are the nursing implications? Well, we kind of talked about this a little bit already, but for nurses, DRGs have both financial and clinical implications. Hospitals may push for faster discharges, tighter staffing to stay within reimbursement limits. This can increase nurse workload and affect patient outcomes. It's essential for nurses to document thoroughly since coding accuracy affects reimbursement and quality reporting. Beyond that, nurses should advocate for models that recognize the measurable economic value of nursing care. And then what are the recommendations for nurses? So knowing these implications, to navigate DRG reimbursement effectively, nurse leaders should be active participants in policy discussions. Quality-based reimbursement models like this can help align DRG efficiency with safe care. Education on documentation and coding is key since accurate data protects both revenue and patient safety. Future research should focus on integrating nursing-sensitive metrics into the DRG systems, ensuring the value of nursing is visible in financial and quality outcomes. All right, and in conclusion, DRGs are central to how hospitals are paid. And how care is structured. They're here, the hospitals have to work with them regardless, but while they drive efficiency, they can also create a lot of challenges, obviously, not only for workload, but also for quality. Nurses have a vital role in bridging this gap through documentation, advocating for patients, and communicating with leadership about concerns. Continued education, research, and involvement in reimbursement policy will ensure what nursing remains a key voice in shaping cost-effective and compassionate care systems. All right, and then here are my references that I can share with you. In addition to the 4 articles that I chose for this project, I also included at the very top the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the specific link that talks about the creation of the diagnosis-related groups as well. And then I just wanted to say thank you for your time and thank you for watching. I left my phone number and my Viterbo email here just in case you wanted to reach out with any questions or concerns. Always happy to chat. Thanks so much. Have a great day, guys.